Hello, and welcome to Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two blended Scotch whiskies, both 40% alcohol. Oh, wait, I forgot to take my vitamin C. Hold on. All right. It is correct. I have two 40% alcohol blended Scotch whiskeys here on Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. This is Grant's, William Grant and Sons. I paid $23.99 for this handle. The price has gone up, but this was a good deal. It goes back to 1887. I put the wrong date. I'll have to fix that. Established 1887. This is their family reserve. Now, after I bought it, they renamed it Triple Wood. I don't know why. I guess they wanted to talk about what kind of wood they used, which is virgin oak, first time use casks, American oak of some sort, and ex-bourbon barrels. Age statement, don't think that's shown. Double check, but I don't recall them having an age statement. William Grant and Sons is a company. They own many brands of whiskey and other liquors, by the way. Glenfiddich Distillery, 1887. So they do sell the single malt from that distillery, Glenfiddich, which is used in the blended whiskeys where they take unmalted grain whiskey, probably up to about 80%, age it 3 years or more, and then blend it with single malt whiskey aged 3 years or more. Or they might blend them together, then age them together. It's all however they want to do it, That's what blended whiskey is. Blended Scotch whiskey. Nice metal cap cover. It's no cork. Built-in pourer. So you got to watch these built-in pours. It'll come out fast. Same thing with the WD liquors. Yeah, that should be enough. This has really been a taste challenge in name only with this WD Scotch. It hasn't provided a credible challenge in any of the contests. Okay, that's what can I do about that? I didn't make the product. Here it is, WD Liquors with the wax seal, but it's not really wax. Just made it look like it. Blended Scotch whiskey. Now WD goes back to 1959 with a merger of two separate companies, Winn Grocery and Dixie Grocery Company, but they headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, and they were purchased by Aldi in 2024, May of 2024. So that could change a lot of things. Could change everything, So whatever Aldi wants to do, they made a cash purchase. They just bought it with cash. They didn't borrow the money. They such a rich company. They just wrote a check, bought Winn-Dixie and Harvey's, which were both part of Southeastern Grocers, which no longer exists except as a subsidiary of Aldi, who also owns Trader Joe's, by the way. So they're building their empire. The German Empire didn't last. Remember, the German Empire used to stretch from Germany itself, and it went from Russia to France. That's how big it was. It stretched from Russia to France, and from Denmark down to Austria and Switzerland. And they used to own many hundreds of Pacific islands, the Caroline Islands, the Northern Mariana Islands, German New Guinea, Papua. I think it was, or that might be the southern part. I can't remember. Part of it was British, and the other part was German, and the western part was Dutch. Many countries in Africa they used to own, like Cameroon, etc. Burundi, Rwanda, German East Africa, or Tanganyika. Well, actually, it was Tanganyika, Rwanda, and Burundi. That was all part of German East Africa. Rwanda, whatever they call it. Togoland. But that came crashing down. Here's sirens. They even owned the territory in China. But maybe they're rebuilding the German Empire in a commercial sense, right? Through grocery store acquisitions, and that stretches all over the world. Okay, so you can see the WD liquors is very pale straw. It doesn't appear that they're adding any coloring, caramel coloring. It would probably cost a few extra cents to do that, and they're trying to keep it as cheap as humanly possible. And then the Grants is amber honey color, more like amber or light honey. Some honey you notice is very light, and some is dark. All right. It's getting to the point in the year where it's no use trying to even think that dawn's coming. Any, by the time we get the video over, it just barely be daylight. So we'll just camps. Now here's Grant's triple wood. I'm showing age in 3 woods for 1 smooth taste. And what cocktails? They got highball glasses right there with baby soda water. Okay, so this is their what you call their flagship, a mixer. But they're talking about the notes, tasting notes, brown sugar sweetness resulting in more taste. Complex clean nose with notes of fruits. There's a rocks glass and ice. Balances vanilla sweetness with malty and light floral fragrances. Long and sweet with a subtle hint of smoke. I don't have any smoke with this. Grants and Cola highball and rocks. And they go on and on with that. Oh, it sounds bad out there with all the sirens. I hope there wasn't a bad accident. We get a lot of bad accidents here, car wrecks, because of too many. That's just junctions, major highways coming together. 51 and 61, Interstate 10 and 51, Interstate 10 and 55, 3188, Louisiana Highway 3188. And people don't pay attention so much these days. They're looking at their phones. And they already take chances, want to pull out real fast in the face of oncoming traffic. It's crazy. All right, here's their famous Girvan distillery. Took 9 months to build it. You say it looks like a chemical plant. Well, in a sense it is, because they make a chemical called grain alcohol from any kind of grain, but most usually it's maize, as they call it in Europe, or corn. Girvan Distillery whiskey is seen as one of the best in the world. Well, could be a little bias in that paragraph because they're bagging on their own product, but maybe it is. I don't know. So that's their grain whiskey comes from. Like they're saying, their sister distillery is Glenfiddich, and they had their first bottling on Christmas Day from each distillery. Christmas Day for Girvan, Christmas Day for Glenfiddich. Now I don't know what year. You remember they got to age it before they bottle it. Oh, don't let that dog drink that whiskey. Okay. They talked about the triangle bottle introduced in 1957 for it helps it get together better, efficient stacking and packing. You see, round bottles, you waste room. They redo casks. They're officially Scotland's oldest continuously family-run blended whiskey. Independent company to date. Let's take that into account. They haven't been bought out. They buy out people. They're known for that, but they haven't been bought out. Vendor, he got to sit there at the laboratory, and they look at this behind him with all the samples. So it is more than an art, honestly. So there's the first guy, William Grant, wearing his Scottish outfit. Prohibition and so forth. But you can read all, and then just show all the many famous ones. Triple Wood 12, that's going to be a lot more expensive than this little non-age stated one. You wouldn't find that for $23.99, obviously. Okay, WD blended Scotch whiskey. This is about as cheap as they come. $16.99. And I don't think they need to go back to math class, because they're saying 28.6 ounces. That is not 1.75 liters. 1.75 liters is like 59 ounces. A regular size whiskey bottle is 25.4. Okay, so, and this is more than twice the size. So that's comical. Okay, anyway, but I've many mistakes on many companies' websites over the years. Like Bud Ice saying it was introduced in 1984. And I told Anheuser-Busch, I wrote him an email, not hostile or anything. I just said, it was 94. And the lady asked me, how do you know that? Now, here's the company, Anheuser-Busch, that makes it, asking me, how do I know it was 84 instead of 94? And I gave them all the information. Oh, so I did get an email response. Oh, okay, we're going to fix that. So then about 2 days later, the website was updated to 94. So they will respond, Well, sometimes they won't. Like Sazerac, I told Buffalo Trace that Ancient Age came out in 1936, not 46. I said, y'all wrong. But they said the same thing. How what's the evidence? I gave them all the documents, on a file. No response, except they said thank you, and they never changed it. So, nobody put out a newspaper advertisement in 1936 for a Scotch that wasn't going to hit, a bourbon that wasn't going to hit the market for 10 years. Would they preempt it? They had a foreknowledge. Yeah, says, good morning, Jay. Hope you're okay. Good morning to you, whoever you are. All right. Sometimes people get offended with me, like when they use alias names, and they'll use a different name on every platform. Like on the chat, they'll use the alias, and on Facebook an alias, on YouTube an alias, and it's different. And I can't keep up, and they're like, don't you know that's me, Book N12 and Dynamite Cruise City 15. And I'm like, I'm saying, no, I don't. I can't keep up with all of this. Everybody's got these alias names, and I can't keep up. And I'm not trying to be, disregard you or be offensive or, blow you off. I cannot keep up with all of that. Now, if somebody says, my name's Jason Cleveland, do I know that if that's his real name? No, I don't. But he uses the same name, so I can write Jason Cleveland. Okay. So it's easier that way. All right. So that's the story there. Here we go. And this is going to be quick. Not because I'm in a rush, and I'm not, but because it's not going to be a contest. Not any kind of true contest. Like when I went to see my first ever Louisiana State University football game in 1977, Rice at LSU. It was a contest, that was scheduled. They played the game for an hour on, game time, about 3 hours total. But it was 77-0. That was the final score. 77 LSU Tigers, 77 Rice 0. Rice Owls. So that's about how this is going to turn out. I remember that game was 28-0 in the first quarter. I thought, whew, this is something else. Okay, that smells standard, just standard Scotch, nothing special. I never did think Grant's was too special. Honestly, I'm not really a fan of it. Same thing. So on aroma, there's not much happening. All right, taste time. It is a taste challenge after all. All right. Grants is talking about smoke. I don't know where that's coming from. I have never in my life detected any sort of smoke with this product. This ain't a touch of smoke. I don't even taste that. It's just sweet fermented grains is all I'm tasting. And wood. Yeah, you get a little of that. But it's just ordinary, which is probably why they're focusing on cocktails as soon as you get on the website page. Boy, oh boy. This has got to be the Grants. It's got more wood, more depth of character. Still got no smoke, though. I don't know what that's about. That's a phantom, you know. That's a mirage to me, but I'm not accusing them of lying. I'm saying I can't pick it up. Yeah, okay, this has got a little bit of that caramel. I'll say this, though. Whoops. That's right, WD's over here. The WD has improved a little bit as is breathing. Now, maybe by the time I get to the very bottom, it'll have some quality to it. So it's not as garish as when I first cracked it open. So oxygen, breathing might have helped it. It clearly has helped it. But then, you know, it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have to open up something and then get way down in the bottle before you can even almost not, you know, start to tolerate it. And like I said, why pay this when you can pay $1 more, exactly $1 more for the same amount of whiskey and get a much better product. Also handled by Sazerac, but through their Barton Brands division, if it's really a division. And I get the impression that it is in a way. This is handled through Wide World Importers, which I think is the part of Sazerac that handles all the private label, maybe just for Winn-Dixie, but which would be a huge account anyway. That would keep people, like I said earlier in other videos, plenty busy handling all that. Apparently they have a special team that works for the distributorship doing it. That's what they do. They handle it. Oh, I mean, they probably handle other Sazerac products. But what I mean is they're on the case with the WD. Because I've talked to other Sazerac handlers, you know, distributor people. A, they weren't aware that WD Liquors was part of Sazerac. And secondly, the guy said he definitely didn't handle it. Well, how could he handle it? He didn't even know it was part of it. So he's like, wow. You know, so that's obviously detached in a way. Okay. He was like, yeah, I don't do their stores, but he's out here in this town and their store is in one of their stores in this town. So it's obviously a separate team, which is makes sense because they got a separate case that they got to concentrate on, separate unit. And I noticed that Winn-Dixie been bringing in other brands not called WD Liquors. Like there's this specialty, vodka, specialty type vodka with its own name. It's not WD. I know it's Sazerac though, but it's a little bit higher priced. And I didn't check to see if it's at Wide World Distiller. I might go to Winn-Dixie today anyway. I wanted to check on some craft beers over there. And I'm gonna look at that. And if it says Wide World Importers, I'm gonna think, oh yeah, all right, I get it now. But if it doesn't, I'll just think, okay, I don't quite get it. All right. But I noticed that's been showing up because it's probably some kind of idea to make some differentiation on that area, kind of like their standard stuff, and then maybe some more premier type of things. Nothing wrong with that. They certainly do it at Albertsons. Do the same thing. They got their basic, and I don't know. I think they call it the Founders Company when it's coming through Albertsons. Could be another division. It just handles Albertsons, Super Value, Jewel Osco, Safeway, and Bonds, and all of that. But there's a higher grade stuff they have out there. They like, it's called like Canadian Reserve or whatever it is, and they have like a 4-year and an 8-year, and they're more expensive. Couldn't comment on it, never had it. They have that for Scotch too and all. But then they have their basic stuff, like I said, Highland Mist. You could pay $1 more, get Highland Mist, and it's so much better than this WD. It's laughable, really. But we can't get Highland Mist in this town, so all right. Can't see with the light. Oh yeah, so this is the WD. Not terrible this time. So I think we're gonna bring the score up to 74 now. And I didn't think it would climb. I said no way that score is going, but it did climb. So now we're up to 74. And that's not good. An A-, my lowest A- on my scale is an 80. 80 means it's marginally good. You could make the argument that it's good, but you would not try to make a strong argument. Okay. We drank a somewhat sort of expensive craft beer the other day, last week. Definitely much more expensive per ounce than this thing. And it was just not very good. It was definitely not very good, which would be a B+. It might have been A-. My friend David was really hot about it. He was like hostile towards it, and I think he gave it a C- or something like that. I mean, he was just enraged, which he bought the 6-pack, so I guess he was. I didn't buy it, I just was trying. We made a trade. I'll let him have a Two-Hearted Ale, Two-Hearted IPA, sorry, Bell's Two-Hearted IPA, and then he said he's going to give me a can of that when I go to his house. You better not have drank them all, but he probably won't be in a rush to drink those. But I mean, it was just Bell's Two-Hearted compared to that is so superior. It's and then he was saying, like that company, they always like a defensive. Like if you criticize the product, they always saying you're not a supporter. You don't support your state. Why are you against Louisiana brewers and all of this? And so such a joke, as if we have some kind of like veiled hostility towards Louisiana brewers. More than likely, we would have a veiled bias towards them. We maybe scoring them higher than we should. But if we taste a bunch of stuff that's either ho-hum or not even barely average, well, yeah, we're going to say it. And it's not a betraying your state. It's like you examine it for what it is. Hi, says Herbie. Hello to you in India. So Grant's clearly better, and it's not even that great. It's probably one of my least favorite blended Scotch whiskeys that I've got, but it's in the B range, at least probably a B+. Honestly, it's just not for me. But there's no challenge here. It's a little bit more though, a little bit more. Winn-Dixie WD blended Scotch went up a little bit, so we'll see what happens in the next 4 or 5 that I have left. Thanks everybody. Bye bye.